I would like to call the Plymouth Board of Education meeting for Wednesday, April 7th, 2021 to order at 7:01 p.m. Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I will say it's nice to see some people sitting out in the audience tonight. All right. Just some house rules. We are following the Department of Public Health policy, so anybody who comes in must sign in at the sign-in sheet in the back and wear a mask over their nose and mouth. If you get up for public comment, there is a separate sign-in sheet for public comment. We'll explain that. And we do this just in case we have to contact trace if anything should arise. Okay. Item number 2 on the agenda, the adoption of the agenda. I would like to amend the agenda to include the formation, for the purpose of the formation of a committee for the superintendent. I'd like to move that to item number 4 on the agenda. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
By Mr. Foote, seconded by Michelle Lucian. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we have to entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as amended. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Greg Shower, seconded by Mr. Foote. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, item number 3, approval of minutes. We have a few here. We had a special meeting. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 10th, 2021. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
By Greg Shower, seconded by Mr. Foote. All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Motion carries. To entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of March 30th, 2021. Do I have a motion? Mr. Foote for the motion. Do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
Melissa Johnson for the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you. All right, item number 4 on the agenda. As you know, we are in the need for a superintendent. It has been posted on websites and out there. So we need to form a committee for that with the board's approval. I'd like to appoint Melissa Johnson, Greg Showers, and Mr. Foote from the board. I'd also like to include from the admin team Matt Tenzia, Lindsay Anaheim, Kathleen Mozak-Pezza, Rich Trudeau, and Pat Piskorski to be on that committee for information and input. Okay. Do I have that as a motion?
So moved.
Greg Showers. Do I have seconded by Mr. Foote? Any discussion on that motion? And the purpose for that is they will bring their recommendations to the board for full approval. All right, so with that said, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. So item number 5 on the agenda will be presentations. Guess we have an out-of-state field trip by Mr. Vlies. Velius? Okay. Yep, absolutely.
Well, good evening, Mrs. Turner and Mr. Seaman and the Plymouth Board of Education. My name is Pete Velius. I've been a teacher here at Terryville High School for 22 years now. I'm here to promote the trip to Washington, D.C. for our students at Terryville High School. The trip is run by a program called Close Up. I initially brought the trip here, as Ms. Kalesa and Ms. Johnson know. I spoke here 4 years ago now with my son, because he had gone on the trip as well. And it's just a wonderful experience for the students. People from all over the country come for this. It's not just for the students, it's also for the teachers. You know, I went on the inaugural trip, and Mr. Schumann and Mr. Foles have also gone on a trip. It's my turn to go back again, hopefully go back again next year. I hope that it gets approved because it's such a wonderful trip. But it's a learning experience for us as well. It's a behind-the-scenes look at Washington, D.C. We get to meet with our state representative, who will be Ms. Hayes. When I went, it was Ms. Esty last time. And you meet with the senators as well. So it's a pretty cool experience for the kids. They get to sit down with their staffs and ask questions about the inner workings of D.C., as well as they do workshops at the different memorials and get to meet kids from all over the country. When I went, there was people from Texas, South Dakota, Idaho, Arkansas, Louisiana, Georgia, Michigan, a couple groups from Michigan, obviously us from Connecticut. There was people from all over, and it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I know Liliana went on the trip, and she could probably vouch for me. It's second to none when it comes to offering things for students, and we're very, very hopeful that we get to go back again next year. My initial trip, I took 5 students, and each year they have brought more students with them, and it goes for 1 week in February. We're sad that we missed out this year because it would have been a very exciting time to have gone right after the election. I think it would have been really, really interesting for the students before all the really crazy chaos, but I had a really good time to be down in Washington, D.C. to see some of the inner workings of what was going on and the transition happening in Congress. I think it would have been really, really special. So unfortunately, the pandemic put a monkey wrench into that. So I don't know. I'm very hopeful that you'll allow us to go back. I have a picture if you wanted to see it. I didn't know I was going to have to do this again. Like I said, the first time I came, I brought my son to speak on this, on behalf of this as well. But this was my initial trip. We get a picture on the backside of the Capitol. It's pretty cool with all the kids from all over the country. It's just a great experience for everybody involved. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
Any questions from the board?
Is it limited to 5 to 10 kids, or is that just normally how many you have?
No, each year, how many went with you, Lily? I'm sorry.
I think there were
13, yeah. I would say the more we could get, the better.
Okay, so there's no limit.
When I went, the group from South Dakota actually had a parent, an extra parent as a chaperone because they had so many kids. And that was neat because that was my roommate was from South Dakota. And it was neat to hear his experience as well. He was a dad. And so you room with kids from other parts of the country, usually 2 kids from Terryville, 2 kids from another state. That may change because of COVID protocols. That they're working on that now. Hopefully people will be vaccinated and everything will be back to normal by November next year, but they're still working on that. It might just be 2 kids from Terryville rooming with each other. Yeah. That's part of the deal right now. Okay, they're working on that. Sorry.
Any other questions or comments? No? Okay. Well, with that said, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the out-of-state field trip from November 7th, 2021 to November 12th, 2021 to Washington, D.C. for students in grades 9 through 12 in the Social Studies Department, with the stipulation that the superintendent does have the right, if something happens, to cancel the trip if needed.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
The only thing I have to say is, can you, if we allow it, can you bring back pictures and do a presentation again? I think that that makes such a difference.
Each time, I did it with Savannah the first time.
Right.
I know Lily, did you come the second time? Or, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Lily
think that's
did.
an
So
amazing
when we
thing
come
to
back,
do.
we definitely want to share because we want more kids to go. This
Yeah.
is with the loss of the 8th grade trip. That's why I promoted it the first time, because there's no 8th grade trip any longer for the middle schoolers. I thought this was a good opportunity to get kids back to DC and see something that most of them haven't got a chance to see. So definitely we'll do that when we come back.
All right, so we have the motion on the floor made by Karen Colessa, seconded by Melissa Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, we're going to recognize the Paraeducator of the Year. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Lindsay Ahern.
Okay. So it's a very fitting day for me to be up here because I found out today that April 7th has been declared by Governor Ned Lamont as Paraprofessional Appreciation Day. So I found that out earlier today, so it's a fitting day for us to have this presentation. So before I start, I just want to acknowledge all of our support staff that work in our programs. We really couldn't do the work that we do every day without you. So I know some of you are here, but also to all of you that are maybe watching to see Decker. I just want to say thank you for everything you do for us. So I'm proud to have the honor of introducing the Plymouth Public Schools 2022 Anne Marie Murphy Para-Educator of the Year Award to Nicole Decker, more formally known to all of us as Decker. She's a full-time para-educator at Fisher Elementary School. She was hired about 6 years ago and began her work in the pre-K program, but she's been in our Apple program for 4 years now. I personally got to know Decker through the extended school year program, where she worked with some of our most high-needs students, often stepping in to support wherever and whoever she could. While I know her well, it is the words of her supervising teacher that truly capture why she was chosen as this year's Para-Educator of the Year. Vicki Reese supervises Nicole in her program at the Apple program, and she describes Decker as having a natural instinct towards all things applied behavior analysis. For those of you that are not familiar with this, it's a very complex and involved style of teaching that we pride ourselves on in all of our special programs throughout the district. Decker understands all behavioral approaches immediately and has proven herself effective working with all of the students in the program. She approaches the job every day with professionalism, reliability, and a true desire to do everything possible to maximize each student's potential. During COVID, she's been a wonderful and reliable staff in providing one-to-one work sessions online with our Apple students. She's remained patient and professional working with parents and students. And for those of you that don't know, this has been some of the most difficult work that we've had to do during COVID, is our sessions, virtual sessions with some of our students. It's been difficult for all of them, and Nicole has truly shined during that time. She can always be counted on to assist with material prep, daily logistics, or anything that needs to happen to further the success of all of the students in the program. She's a team player in every aspect, and she is a true representation of every quality that we look for and value in our para-educators. So with that, I just want to say congratulations, Decker. We're proud of you, and we're so glad to be presenting you with this award.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Before we recess, Walt, can I just mention our semifinalists so that we can
Absolutely.
recognize them? So there were semifinalists in the district, and I just wanted to make mention of them this evening while everyone's here. From Plymouth Center School, we have Christine Cordani. From Eli Terry, June Danis. And from Terryville High School, Jennifer Bleekus. So congratulations to all of our semifinalists as well, and congratulations, Nicole.
So I know the board really does understand and appreciate the work that you guys do, and how undervalued you may feel at times, but you're not. So I want you, the work that you do is extremely valuable, and it's very, very much appreciated. All right. That said, I'd like to entertain a motion to recess at 7:14 p.m. to congratulate the Paraeducator of the Year. Do I have a motion?
Second.
By Greg Shower, seconded by Mr. Foote. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We are in recess at 7:14 p.m. Second, Greg Showers for the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're back in session. All right, item number 6 on the agenda is the superintendent's update. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Sherry
Thank you.
Turner.
Thank you. Just a couple of brief things. We, as you know, I updated you in my weekly update. We had our second vaccination clinic, so we could get our second dose of vaccine. That was Thursday. Everything went really well again, just as the first one, and I just again wanted to thank Walt for coordinating the clinic with Waterbury Hospital. All of our volunteers, our school nurses, we had volunteer nurses that came to help us vaccinate. We had the Plymouth Volunteer Ambulance Corps again that came and helped us, and the administrators doing anything and everything, and it's really a team effort. And so I'm just wanted to say how grateful I am for that, to be able to have done that.
Great.
And so we're glad. So actually we will anyone that was vaccinated at our clinic will be considered fully vaccinated on April 15th, so, which is good news. A reminder, we are on April 19th, which is the day after April vacation. When we come back, we will be coming to school 4.5 days a week for K-12. That means all students will be here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday all day, and Wednesday in the morning. So we're looking forward to that. Our last day of school right now, barring any unforeseen circumstances, is Monday, June 14th. Mike and Darren and I will be meeting right after the break to set a graduation date. We're thinking right now that with the last day of school being Monday, June 14th, we would probably do something that evening, but because we're going to be outside, site to be determined, we will have a rain date of the 15th. So once I have that confirmed, I will, of course, let you know, but that's what our thoughts are right now. And then just a quick budget update. As you know, on April 5th, we, just Monday night, had a Board of Finance meeting. The Board of Finance voted to add $100,000 to the budget. So that brings us to a total addition of $136,665, which is an increase of 0.55% to the taxpayers. So that's where we are with that. And you know the tri-board meeting is April 19th, which is the day we come back from April vacation. Okay. Well, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
Yeah, so the big thing this time of year is the budget. You know, as we know, the superintendent proposed to us a 2.53% increase. We decided to try to add the STEM program, which brought it to a 3.13% increase. I just want to clear up a few things, and I think the public needs to know what this money is and what it really looks like. So the 2.53% was a total increase to the budget of $624,727. Contractual obligations, which equated to 2.33%, which is $577,727. So the 3.13, adding the STEM program, would have been an increase this year, with the exception of the teacher. It was to buy equipment and the printers and the computers and everything for the engineering program. Was $774,727. Now, we are currently fixing an accounting practice through the town and the Board of Ed of excess costs. That will be coming over to the Board of Education side, where it should have been all along. So both sides agreed to that. The Board of Finance, the town, and us agree that that needs to be done and should have been done a long time ago. So I'm happy to see that. As the superintendent said, the only increase that we are going to get from the taxpayers this year, as proposed, is $136,665. So you can see that there is a huge shortfall in the proposed budget. Even if we went with the 2.33%, which is staff, still a huge deficit. So we are working together with the Board of Finance, and one of the options that you heard or read in the newspaper is that a memorandum of understanding. So one of the ideas that we were trying to come up with, and we were racking our heads, and Matt was very much involved with this, and Sherry every step of the way, was utilizing the sinking fund, possibly. Now, the state statute was changed and modified in 2019. So that allowed the Board of Education to add up to 2% of the budget annually into the sinking fund. And it also stated that we can use it for anything educational, which was a huge triumph. The agreement between the Board of Education and the town of Plymouth states for capital purposes. So that's the reason for the memorandum of understanding. And the memorandum of understanding would allow us to use that monies in the sinking fund, plus if we have a surplus this year, deposit that money into the sinking fund and temporarily use it to offset the increase. There was a lot of other discussion about using the fund balance in the town, this and that, and this seems like the best option as a temporary solution for this year. If it doesn't pass, this has to be approved by the board here, which I don't see why anybody here would not approve it. But it also has to be approved by the Board of Finance, and it has to be approved by the town council in order for us to do this. If this fails and doesn't pass, this board is going to have some difficult decisions to make with the recommendation from the superintendent. Cuts will have to be made, and nobody wants to do that. We're talking everything from high school sports, middle school sports, staff, teachers, class sizes getting larger, and really just desecrating our school system as we know it. So I am hoping that, this does pass. I'm in communication with the chairman of the Board of Finance pretty much every day. There's members on there who, they really want to help. Where the public can help and where we can help is they hear all the time that they don't want a tax increase. They don't want a tax increase. They don't want a tax increase. People in the town don't want a tax increase. And I understand that, and I get it. So I'm asking people, right, go onto the town's website. You can contact the Board of Finance via email. You can contact the mayor's office. Whether you're for the increase or not for it, let them know, because they can only go by and make decisions on what they hear. And, it is a public thing, the citizens of this town, who everybody here represents, including the Board of Finance and the mayor, they need to hear from you. And they need to know if you're for it or against the increase. We have another meeting tomorrow night, Thursday night. They meet every Monday and every Thursday, the Board of Finance, and they are tasked with difficult decisions this year. So, and every year for that. So I want to clear that up. So you're going to read in the paper that they're looking for, that we're getting $250,000. That's not the case. We're not receiving $250,000 from the taxpayers. We'll be receiving $136,665 if that passes. I'm hoping with that and the addition to the memorandum of understandings, we won't have to make cuts. But that's where we're at now in the budget process. And that's all I have for now on that. And moving forward, I'm hoping and confident that everybody will do the right thing, and the town council will do the right thing, and the Board of Finance, and again, the town council will do the right thing by the children of this town. So that's where we are with the budget. Any comments or questions about the budget so far from the board? None? Okay. All right. Moving along. Item number 7 on the agenda, our student representatives. So let's start with Tyler. Come up to the podium. It's nice to see you, right? Instead of hearing your voice from the speakers.
So I'm going to talk about SAT Day for the juniors, and they recently took the SAT, and they were confident in taking them because we had an SAT Day boot camp. So for the month of March, during homeroom, they took like a practice SATs with the teachers and worked through problems with them. And I have something really excited to announce from the National Honor Society. We're currently holding like a donation-based fundraiser for Make-A-Wish. With the 100th birthday of NHS approaching, each member is striving to raise $100. And some exciting news is we kicked this event off on Monday. And at the time I wrote this, we had just under $1,500. And I just checked, we actually have over $2,100 raised so far out of our $3,000 goal. And if you'd like to donate, please see any NHS members or check on Facebook for donation links from the school.
Nice job. Thank you. Any questions for Tuck? No? thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Liliana.
Hi, so I'm going to be talking about the senior formal dinner that we're going to be holding. So because of COVID, we still can't have a real prom. It would just be too difficult with distancing and everything. So we're going to be hosting a sort of formal dinner. And seniors are still encouraged to dress up formally, and we're all going to have dinner together, and it's going to be catered. And we're holding it at the Grand Oak Villa on May 7th. And the added twist is that we're going to have a sort of interactive murder mystery. It's like an investigation where everybody participates and everyone has different roles, and you work together to find clues to solve everything. And we thought that would be fun and exciting to fill in the place that would otherwise be spent dancing. And along the same train of thought, we can't go to Holiday Hill this year as a senior class, so we are we're trying to host a senior field day, which would be different than the typical field day. We are still talking about all of it. We don't have all of it figured out. We're trying to sort it out with restrictions. But we're really excited that we're still able to host these things and give the senior class the dinner and the prom that they deserve.
Great, that sounds like a lot of fun, actually. Good work and, good keeping up that positive attitude, right? That's great to see.
Thank you.
Any questions for Liliana? Comments? All right, thank you. All right. Gina, you are up.
So we just wanted to provide an update on sports. So the winter sports season has recently ended, and as I'm sure everyone has heard, the boys basketball team claimed the Berkshire League title, and their score was 54-51. And spring sports are just starting up again this week, and everyone's very happy to be back because considering last year we couldn't have spring sports.
Any questions for Gina? Comments? Thank you so much, Gina. Thank you. Item number 8 on the agenda, public comment. Mr. Trudeau, are we still allowing people to call in, or is it just in person? Okay. All right. Seeing none. Item number 9 on the agenda, communications. All right, so as the board members know, we have a resignation from the board, and I have a letter here formally, and I'll read. Dear Board, please accept this letter of resignation from my position as a member of the Plymouth Board of Education effective immediately. I have appreciated the opportunity to serve our town in this capacity, and I wish the Board of Education success in the future. Sincerely, Melissa Cohen Kreml. So, I'd like to thank Melissa for her time on the board. She did a lot of work. She was very passionate and very involved in CABE. She did a lot of work, and she will be missed, and I wish her well in her future endeavors. All right, so I would like to formally accept that letter of resignation from the board. So I'd like to entertain a motion to accept that letter of resignation.
So moved.
By Mr. Foote. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
By Michelle Lucian. All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. With regret. Okay. Item number 10 on the agenda, new business. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the resignation of Sherry Turner as interim superintendent for the Plymouth Public School Systems, effective June 30th, 2021. As you know, we've had discussions on this, and she's done a great job. She really picked a hell of a year to step up and do her part. Faced with everything, but she, in my opinion, has handled everything with professionalism and grace. So it's very much appreciated, and one last chance, right? Here it is. So. No?
You should read the next part.
Yeah, I should. All right.
We have to make that motion, right?
What?
We still have to make that motion?
We do, yes.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
second by Melissa Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Regrettably.
Yes, with regrets as well.
With regrets.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, the board would like to welcome Mrs. Turner as she returns to her original position as principal of Plymouth Center School effective July 1st, 2021.
Welcome back.
So, yeah, welcome back. Right, so I'm still going to call you. Right, so, all right, that's going to happen. All right.
And I'll say you'll have to call the superintendent.
Yeah, all right. All right, so the Healthy Food Certification 2021 to 2022. As anybody, we have to vote on this every year, so I'd like to entertain a motion to implement the healthy food options. Do I have a motion on this?
So moved.
By Greg Schauer, seconded by Mr. Foote. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Wait, oh, hold on.
Oh,
In the past, if you don't read it, we have to do it over. You
Really?
actually have to read this all.
oh, well,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. We've had to like do it over. It's been wrong. Sorry.
That's
I
okay.
tried to catch you before.
Huh? Yeah.
2 pages.
Oh, well, here we go. Ready? All right. All public school districts participating in the NSLP must submit the Healthy Food Certification Statement, addendum to agreement for child nutrition program by July 1st, 2021, to certify whether or not all food items sold to students will or will not meet Connecticut nutritional standards. The healthy food options pursuant to CGS Section 10-215F, the Board of Education or governing authority certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in the schools under its jurisdiction and not exempted from the Connecticut nutrition standards published by the Connecticut State Department of Education will comply with the Connecticut nutrition standards during the period of July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. This certification shall include all food offered for sale to students separately from reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including but not limited to school stores, vending machines, school cafeterias, culinary programs, and any fundraising activities on school premises sponsored by the school or by non-school organizations and groups. So, I'd like to entertain a motion to implement the healthy food option.
So moved.
Greg Schauer, seconded by Mr. Foote. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. If the Board of Education or governing authority votes yes for the healthy food option above, the Board of Education or governing authority must also vote on whether to allow food exemptions as indicated below. Note, if the Board of Education or governing authority votes no for the healthy food option above, a vote on whether to allow food exemptions is not required. No. So exemption for food items. The Board of Education or governing authority will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut nutrition standard provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the food items are not sold from a vending machine or a school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. For example, soccer games, school plays, and interscholastic debates are events, but soccer practices, play rehearsals, and debate team meetings are not. The regular school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held. So I'd like to entertain a motion to allow the food exemptions. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
By Melissa Johnson, seconded by Mr. Foote. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Beverage exemptions. The Board of Education or governing authority will allow the sale to students of beverages not listed in Section 10-221Q of the Connecticut General Statutes, provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the beverages are not sold from a vending machine or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. The school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held and must be the same place as the beverage sales. So, I'd like to entertain a motion to allow for the beverage exemptions. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Greg Showers, do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Mr. Foote for the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Well, I think you punked me there for a minute.
I didn't.
I don't think
swear
that
I
was
did not
necessary.
post.
That wasn't
Like
necessary.
my first year as chairman, and then we had to come back like 2 months later because we didn't say it.
I'm going with you just like my voice. All right.
I want you to read,
But see, Matt like totally agrees with me right now, so this is a good thing.
now you can read Fun with Dick and Jane to us all in a Zoom meeting.
Where are you? All right, we'll see you in about 10 minutes. All right. All right, so item number C, draft the proposed calendar for the Plymouth Public School System's 2020 to 2023 school year. You have that in your packet. Same will be discussed and voted on in the May Board of Education meeting, so just be aware that you have that. All right. Item number D on that, we are going to table that and remove it from the agenda at this point. So what that was going to be a proposed donation to the Plymouth Volunteer Ambulance Corps. They provided us EMTs on both our vaccination days at no cost. We're still looking into the proper way to do that. So we're going to remove it from tonight's agenda. Okay. But I do want to thank them publicly again for supporting that vaccination clinic and all the work that they did and the manpower they provided for us. We wouldn't have been, it would have been harder to do without them. Okay. Item number 11, board member and committee reports. Finance operations. At this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Tenzia.
Good evening, everybody. Just a couple of quick things, unless you have questions of things in your packet. But first, I want to thank you again for approving the lighting program to move forward. I have some good news tonight. I wanted to give you an update. 3 of the 4 schools have already been approved. We're waiting for approval on the high school because of the size of this particular project. It has to go through an additional approval step, but we anticipate that within days. And also, we have received an additional $15,000 or so of additional incentives, so our cost is going to drop more, and that will be more savings on the backside. So good news all around for that, and that's in process. The other item I wanted to mention is in my report, but I wanted to do it publicly, is Linda May, our payroll and benefits coordinator, has submitted her retirement paperwork after 22 years. And I wanted to publicly announce that she is leaving and thank her for all that she does for the district. She's amazing. Everybody gets paid every 2 weeks, no matter what. It doesn't matter what's going on in her life. She makes sure that it happens. And she's been an irreplaceable resource for me for these last 4 or 5 months. We're going to miss her dearly. She has an incredible amount of history here. And with that said, we wish her very well when she leaves on June 30th, the same day as Mrs. Turner. And she will be off to a well-deserved retirement. With that said, we also have started the process of looking for replacement. And we posted the positions, we have started interviews, and hopefully I'll have a really good candidate to kind of step in, and I'm hoping to have them overlap for a few weeks so I can steal some of that knowledge and pass it along to the next person. So that's what I have to report on this evening, unless you have any questions with what was included in the packet.
I like the numbers.
I know, they're looking good.
You make me happy. Can I just make a comment about Linda real quick? I know it's not public time, but I just want to say that one thing I learned about her was when we were actually in the old building, she lived right near there. And even in the snowstorm, she went to work, even when we closed the buildings down. So I think that's amazing, and her dedication to our district is just invaluable. So I wish her luck. She's going to be really well missed.
Absolutely.
All right. You good? Okay, I just want to make sure. I know I always jip you. I want to make sure we're good. All right. You have the personnel report in the packet. That was, any questions on the personnel report as submitted? Okay, good. All right, item number 12 on the agenda, public comment. Anybody, all 6 of you have anything to say? No, nothing. All right, hearing none. We'll move on to item number 13, board liaison reports. So Harry S. Fisher Elementary School. So the PTA calendar raffle was a huge success. They raised over $3,400 and sold over 600 tickets. That's very impressive. And they will be picking their winner daily and posting it live on Facebook. This Friday is PJ Day, Pajama Day. Cost is $1. Proceeds will be for the 5th grade picnic. And finally, they are looking for new board members for the 2021 to 2022 school year. If interested, please join their next meeting via Google Meets on April 20th. All right, so that's important. These organizations are very important and an integral part of the school system. You know, and without the parents' input, you know, we don't know what they're thinking or what they want for their children. So these, and not to mention they do an awful lot of fundraising for activities that aren't provided by the district. So get involved. All right. Mr. Elsegar.
Usually the meetings are a day before the Board of Ed meeting, and since this Board of Ed meeting is 1 week sooner than usual, that's not till next week.
Right. Okay. All right. Mrs. Kalesa for Taylorville High School.
Yes, as far as I know, there was not a meeting since our last meeting, but I do want to say that now is the time for junior parents to get involved with the Terryville PTSA and juniors as well, because this is the time to learn everything that there is to know about your senior year and your students' senior year and how you can help out and help to fundraise and those kinds of things.
Okay. All right. Mr. Foote.
SEPTA, thanks, Melissa. Plymouth SEPTA has spoken to Terryville High School guidance, and they'll be offering a scholarship this year. Any student interested is supposed to contact the guidance department. They also want to report that this may be our last year for the scholarship and for SEPTA. We have not had any new members come forward, so this leads us to close our chapter.
Oh, that's sad news. So if anybody out there is interested, please get involved with that. That's an important organization. All right. Mrs. Johnson at Advanced.
I did cut it like in half, so it's going to be quick. So we did our healthy foods also last week, so we had to go through the whole exemption.
Did you? Did you read it yourself?
No, I didn't have to. That's what
I'm drinking water now. My throat's sore.
We also have our new slate of officers. John Kisco, he is president again this year. Linda Stone, she's the new vice president. Deb Bell is the secretary. They asked me to be treasurer. I said no. So they asked Janelle Wilkes from Watertown, and then I'm just staying at member at large. You're laughing, aren't you? She's like, yep.
That's how I became president.
Exactly. No, thank you. So we approved our meeting dates for this coming year, and interestingly enough, we do 10, and we used to do them, as Karen knows, we go there, we have a great meal, and during Zoom time, we couldn't, so we're all like, where's our good meal? But because we have better attendance, because we're from all over the district, our numbers are like 3 times more than we normally have, so we're going to keep 7 of our meetings Zoom, and then 3 meetings we're going to do in person. Those are like really important meetings, especially budget meetings. And then The governor has announced that the 6 RESCs in the RESCs Alliance will receive $10 million to add summer enrichment programs over the next 2 years. I don't know how much we're going to get compared to the other bidder RESCs, but at least the money is there, and we're hoping that we tap into that. And this is something that's really, I've been kind of sitting on this for like 3 months, but now I can finally announce it. Our RESC and the CES, which is Cooperative Education Service RESC, have joined together to purchase a building that was formerly housed a homeschool facility in Bethel that is no longer being used. In the actual building, it's already set up for educational purposes, so we're going to be using those for, there's already actually a lot of these labs in there, so there's a 3D printing lab, there's a theater arts lab, a think tank, technology labs, with, like, there's 2 big areas of just computers for the kids to use. We can offer summer programs. There's a large culinary area, and right now, like, another company's actually using the kitchens. They're so big, but we can start a culinary program. There's space for alternative education, which every district needs. Space for a transitional program, a space for 22 plus, which I'm so excited about. There's a lot of space for STEM programs, and what they're planning on offering is anybody within the 2 RESCs actually can bus the kids down almost like a field trip and use the STEM working labs. There's also enough room to have, like, you know how you guys do your retreats? I guess some of the districts have already agreed to use that space for their retreats. You know this, don't you? Did you? Yeah, I thought you would. And then basically it's for both RESCs, and I think it's an amazing opportunity because this is within our own RESC, and we can actually use all this for, in both of our regions, so it's really exciting. Yeah. You can actually take an online tour, so if anybody's interested, if you guys want, I'll email it to you. But it's just, I think the space is like 10,000 square feet or bigger. It's just an amazing setup. So that's it.
Thank you. Sounds like great stuff going on there. All right, Mr. Showers.
No meeting as of yet.
Pretty soon. Be patient. We're getting there. All right, for
Been over a
the
year.
District Safety Committee. All right, be pretty soon. All right. Board comments. Mr. Elsegar.
None.
Mr. Lucian.
Nothing.
Mr. Closa.
I'm all set.
Mr. Showers. Melissa Johnson.
I said mine.
Mr. Foote. Any comments? None. Okay.
Hard
All
to
right.
believe, huh?
What's that?
Hard to believe.
Okay. All right. Okay. I don't have any either at this point. All right. So our next regular meeting of the Board of Education is scheduled for Wednesday, May 12th, 2021 at 7 p.m. right here. Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to enter into executive session at 8:02 p.m. for the purpose of, 1, discussing expiring work agreements for the custodian and maintenance workers, school to career coordinator, and the food service director, and 2, the contract for the business manager, inviting in Mrs. Turner and Mr. Tenzo. All right. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
By Mr. Foote. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Showers, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? We're in executive session at 8:02 p.m.